So what's up, you guys? I'm back at it once again. Um, so today, I'm just gonna touch on another little topic, but you know, I really think that we have to understand what our identity is, and I think that's important, especially in our young males, our young boys. We gotta identify who they are, but not by what we think they are, not by what mom think they are, or what daddy think they are, or what brother, uncle, or who all these other people around them. A lot of kids that I do on my 9 to 5 job that I'm meeting with, a lot of them they're struggling. They have a lot of weight on them. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of weight, and that weight comes from everyone telling them what they should do, what they should be, what they should be doing, what they should be, who they should be, and they don't know who they are, and they're trying to navigate that. And I mean, I know that firsthand because I didn't know who I was, and I struggled a long time to find who was I personally. I was fitting in so many different, cliques and areas that I couldn't tell you. If you asked me at 18, who are you? I'd be like, I don't know who I am. So I think finding that core identity is essential to these young men. And when we start teaching that, and that can look like a number of things, but the most important thing is prayer to God. If you don't believe in God, that's fine. But understanding that everybody's different, and this person is, excuse me, but this kid is on here, on this planet for a purpose. What is that purpose? And you gotta let that kid find out and cultivate through that process. It's funny that, like, a lot of times we let we always are pushing our kids to grow up faster, where in other cultures and other races, they don't do that. They don't, the kids have time to figure it out, to make mistakes and do all that, where in our culture, now, sometimes, I know that's kind of like sometimes trauma experience, but it's like, what are we doing? Are we really helping? Because we haven't seen that result get better. So if we're saying that we should throw them and get them, that it's push them out there, and yet the result we see is negative, why are we still doing that? Go the opposite way. Now, I'm not saying you should have a 30-year-old at your home living with you still. You know what I mean? But to help them throughout and navigate and give them that opportunity to kind of fall on their own, but still have you there to pick them up and say, okay, you fell, here's what we can do next, or here's how I can help you to get to that next journey, or to that next step, or that next process. So I think that's a matter of what we kind of have to help them understand who they are, bring out that identity in them, and see what they like. A lot of times too, we make the mistake, we don't listen to our kids, or we don't listen to these young men. We're telling them what to do, but we're not listening to them on what they want to do. So we got to do a better job listening. We got to do a better job encouraging, but most importantly, we just got to do a better job of we just have to be present and understand that this person is this little guy, this little person is their own person. This little man, this little young boy is going to grow up to be his own individual. And he has a purpose on this planet. Whatever that purpose is, whether it's to one day be the president, one day to, open up a business, be an entrepreneur, whatever it is that that young man is going to bring to this world. Because it's crazy how we don't look at it from from the biblical standpoint of, you know, when we were tasked to say go forth, be fruitful, and multiply, we think that only in terms of, you know, having children, but we don't think of it in the terms of pouring into these young kids to be able to then do more in the society that they're in or in the generation. You know, we're talking about generational building, generational wealth. Well, to do that, we have to, once again, like my last video, pour into them, see who they are, what they're going to become, so that they can then sow good seed into whatever it is, and so that they can then at some, you know, bring forth life, bring forth prosperity, bring forth whatever it may be, so that sometimes is a blessing, because a fruit is going, you know, that seed is going to continue to grow over time and make and bear more fruit, and then that fruit is going to bear fruit, and then that fruit is going to bear fruit. So it's like we got to take that in and say, look, this is what we got to do. We got to help our young men. We can't keep sitting aside on the sideline thinking someone else is going to do it. We have to do that. And that's what I feel like I'm tasked for, especially, you know, it's dear to my heart because I feel like I was an outcast as a young man. You know what I'm saying? Not an outcast, but I just felt lost. I had a dad. I grew up with a dad. I grew up with a stepmother. I grew up with siblings. I had friends and all that, but I was lost. Like throughout that whole time, I was lost. I didn't know where I belonged, where I fit. So it was a struggle for me because I couldn't identify who I was. You know, and those that know me will be like, oh man, you hate. Yeah, I not really. I ain't never gone to Haiti, been to Haiti, I wasn't even born in Haiti. But they're like, boy, you been, you know, using my, but I was born there, but I was born in Bahamas, never lived there, and, you know, had, the only ties I had was my mom, but there was no connection to it. So it was like, and then here, I was raised in Orlando my whole life with my family. You know, I always was like, you know, all my siblings, I have siblings. So I didn't know where I fit in. You know what I'm saying? So I kept looking and searching to say, okay, who am I? Where do I fit in? And I couldn't figure it out. So we got to help our young men with just finding who they are early, pouring into them early, and identifying who they can become and letting them decipher that out. So I think that's what I got for y'all today. Just help the young men, help these young boys identify who they are, what they are. Let them know they're kings, they're princes. Let them know that they're royalty. Let them know that they're amazing, they're awesome. And even if they trip up, tell them, hey, you love them and you care about them. Because at the end of the day, they just want to know that someone's there for them, you know, and someone's listening and someone's watching and someone cares. That's really, at the end of the day, you want somebody to step in and say, I care. I care enough to help you. I care enough to be here and listen, and I care enough to be there. All right. Well, that's all I got, y'all. Thank y'all for taking the time for chilling with Mr. Kirby. Love y'all. Peace.